Bitcoin. Where are we now? Is the institutional FOMO legitimate? Are we headed to new all-time highs for Bitcoin? Is it time to buy altcoins? We're going to discuss all of this and more in today's video. Hey guys, Sheldon Evans here. Welcome back. Or if you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on all of those bell notifications. On my display right now, I have the Bitcoin US dollar chart open. And if you guys have been following along either in the private community or even on Twitter, you'll remember that we've been waiting for a bearish divergence to play out on Bitcoin. And that bearish divergence did eventually play out and gave us a 20% move to the downside. So if you did take that trade, congratulations, that's a huge win for you. Remember, if you use the Bybit affiliate link in the description below, you'll get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus if you trade on Bybit using that link. So remember, bear markets, you can make money in the down and in the uptrend. No matter where we're going, there's a chance or an opportunity for you to make huge capital gains there. If you guys remember the previous video that I made a couple months ago about the recession, I said that was an opportunity to start making money so that you can accumulate coins when the time comes. As you know, all coins, all altcoins, Ethereum included, depreciate against Bitcoin over time, and all altcoins depreciate against Ethereum over time. This is a piece of information that I've been sharing with you guys for many, many years, that if you are long-term trading altcoins, you are going to lose out. You're better off holding your portfolio either in Bitcoin or in Ethereum and trading altcoins for short-term gains and rotating those profits back into your ETH and your BTC holdings. But where are we now for Bitcoin? What does it look like? Are we going to new highs? What's happening? Well, if we look at the chart, you can see that we did have that downside bearish divergence, but then we did get an impulse back up to the range high that we had previously, which is around the $31,000 level. Now we have a new range, obviously, that if we break into that, we could see potential continuation to the upside to around the $35,000 to $37,000 range, which we've been speaking about in the community for many, many months. These are the targets that we've had, and we are eventually hitting them. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to hit new all-time highs, and we can talk about that in a second regarding the ETFs and all of the new institutional FOMO that we're hearing throughout the cryptoverse. $2.3 trillion asset management firms are registering for ETFs. They're registering for crypto custody services. These are all things that are going to bring a lot of capital, a lot of new capital into crypto, which is what we haven't seen for many, many months in the crypto market. We've seen the same capital rotate around. That's why when you see these small moves to the upside, or you see accumulation converting into the upside, that essentially means that, yes, there's more capital rotating into Bitcoin, but altcoins have been declining. We've been seeing Bitcoin dominance skyrocket like crazy because we're seeing a lot of that capital not come in from new money coming into the market, but we're seeing the same capital being rotated amongst coins. And because Bitcoin dominance is rising, it's just showing you that a lot of that capital is coming away from altcoins, coming away from Ethereum, and heading into the Bitcoin dominance. We can see that as well with the ETH BTC chart. A lot of decline against Bitcoin. Ethereum has lost a lot of value against Bitcoin since the September 2022, around 30% value against Bitcoin, meaning that Bitcoin has been outperforming Ethereum, at least in the last year or so. And the reason being is that, again, there's a lot of positivity around Bitcoin because we're seeing a lot of these institutions come into the crypto market. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the institutions are coming into the market and just immediately dumping all of their capital into Bitcoin. Essentially what it's doing is it's legitimizing Bitcoin. And this can happen for many, many other cryptocurrencies that we see in the market. And we'll see this over time. A lot of these coins, whether it's even BNB, which there's a lot of FUD going on around right now, as you guys know, with the whole Binance thing that's happening, Cardano, Dogecoin, Solana, Polkadot, Polygon, all of these coins, once they are bought up by some sort of asset manager, even something like Grayscale's fund has many of these altcoins in it, it legitimizes these coins slightly, because the main talk of the town, or at least people who aren't very involved in cryptocurrency or in the community that much, when you talk to them about cryptocurrency, there's still this air of very much that everything is a scam, which it might seem like if you lose 90% of your money that you put into the market. I mean, even some of the largest coins that we have, the top 4 cryptocurrency BNB, is down 65% from its all-time high. We've got to look at Cardano, which, as you guys know, many people made a lot of money and lost a lot of money on Cardano, down 90% from its all-time high. And when something loses 90% of its value, it's very hard for you to explain to somebody else that, hey, this thing is not a scam. It's just something that I put my money in and it went down. Now, when you get institutions like BlackRock, there's many, many institutions coming out that are registering for ETFs. BlackRock, WisdomTree, Investco, Valkyrie Investments, all of these huge multi-trillion-dollar asset management firms and hedge funds are registering and trying to file these ETFs, not because they believe that they have a lot of money to make off of this, but because it actually creates a new narrative. And if you guys have been following me for a while, you'll remember that one of the most important things to do in the crypto market is to follow the narrative, follow the sentiment. Crypto is a very, or almost entirely, speculative industry, meaning that there's no real value that is behind many of those coins. And there's going to be a lot of pushback for that. A lot of people disagree with me on that. But the thing is that we're all speculating, and all you're trying to do is beat the rush. You're trying to beat the retail traders. When BlackRock files for an ETF and people start investing in Bitcoin through BlackRock, it's not necessarily that BlackRock's going to pump $2, $3, $4, $5 trillion into Bitcoin and push the price up, because that wouldn't be good for them either. That's increasing their average entry price. Essentially what they're doing is they've already acquired enough Bitcoin. They've already acquired enough Bitcoin for themselves and for all of their friends. What they're doing is registering for an ETF, which then legitimizes Bitcoin and creates a retail FOMO into Bitcoin, meaning retail traders like you and I, people on the street who then see Bitcoin and see, okay, this is a legitimate asset class, and they start pumping their money into it, creating a retail parabolic FOMO, while BlackRock has been accumulating for many, many months, many, many years before that. There's no reason for them to not do this now, because they already have filled their bags. And this happens in pretty much every industry. This is essentially insider trading. Now, this is a great thing, of course, if you have already accumulated Bitcoin and you have money to put into the market. But if you don't have money to put into the market, now is the time to start accumulating. Yes, we have already pumped significantly from the lows, up 100% from the lows, from around the $15,000 range. We've pumped significantly, but there may be a potential opportunity here of a lifetime when we get a slight pullback, and it's an opportunity for you to then start accumulating again. Now, I know the macro market is not very good. We're very likely headed into a very, very deep, dark recession. But the thing with recessions is that it, again, doesn't affect those holding assets as much as it does affect those everyday people on the street, with inflation running rampant, people not having enough money to buy food or put food on the table or buy home, pay their rent, or buy cars or buy fuel, any of these things. But the people with assets that have homes, that have apartment blocks, that have crypto, that have gold, these people are generally unbothered by most recessions and see it as an opportunity, really as a crisis to not go to waste. They use these crises to their advantage by accumulating assets in these times of despair and darkness and depression, so that when times turn and times change, they can then sell these assets when the market is green again and looking healthy, right? So essentially what I'm saying here is that there's a potential here to beat the narrative, beat the institutional FOMO, as you might call it, which is actually retail FOMO in reaction to institutional investment. Then there's an opportunity here for you to make a lot of money in the crypto markets. Now, does it mean invest in altcoins now? Not necessarily, although we are seeing many of these altcoins down 80, 90, 100%, near 100% from their all-time highs, but it doesn't mean that they can't go down another 99%. Although your risk to reward ratio here is so much better than it was investing earlier in the bull run. I mean, many of these coins, for example, BNB, as the one we've just been speaking about, use it as an example. When I first mentioned this coin on my channel, when I was first speaking to you guys about this coin, it was $5. That was in the March 2020 crash. $5. That pulled 100x to its all-time high, more than 100x to its all-time high at $695. That's an insane gain. It's still up 50x from its lows. So even though BNB is down significantly from its all-time high, 66%, it's still up a 50x, meaning that you could have still made insane gains on this if you held it. But there are many other coins that, yes, if you got in early enough, are still up significantly from their lows. For example, Matic, still up significantly 2,800% from its lows. But if you purchased in the bull run, you're in a loss right now. Why? Because they all bleed against the main altcoins like Ethereum and against the big bad wolf, which is Bitcoin, right? But if you get in early enough, you can still make potential gains to the upside. I'm not saying Matic's going up to another 500%, but what I'm saying is that your risk to reward ratio now is better than it was previously. And the thing with investing in altcoins specifically is take those gains and rotate them into safer, or at least safer speculations or safer bets that you would see in your eyes. And for me, that has always been Ethereum. As you guys know, still to this day, 70% at this point, even just maybe slightly more, of my portfolio is always in Ethereum. 30% is the degen trading part of my portfolio. 30% I trade with everything. Things that can go to 0, things that can go up 1,000x. All of these things, as soon as that balance starts shifting from 70 to 30%, I start rotating those profits into my Ethereum holdings. So you guys will remember, yes, I was a huge Luna bull back in the day, but did I make money on it? Absolutely. Don't get married to your bags. There was a stage where I was talking about Cardano a lot, and I called Cardano at 2 cents. 2 cents to $3.50 is an insane gain. And then at around $2.50 is when I made a video about Cardano saying that Cardano won't make you rich. And I got a lot of pushback for that. I got a lot of heat for that, saying that Cardano is not going to make you rich. But there was at $2.50. Cardano is now at 28 cents. So yes, Cardano wouldn't have made you rich, but if you had rotated into something a little bit more safer, you might have protected your downside slightly more. So with that being said, yes, there's a lot of bullish news in the coming months and potentially in the coming year for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is being seen more as a decorrelated asset from risk assets specifically, as a potential hedge against inflation, a potential hedge against a recession, right? And if we can, or if it can solidify itself as this narrative, and this becomes the new narrative around Bitcoin with all of these ETFs getting filed, and if they do get passed by the SEC, it's very likely we get the asset class more legitimized, meaning that people are more likely or more willing to invest in these tokens, especially Bitcoin, then we could see potential continuation to the upside. If we do the same thing, we could get a potential Ethereum ETF in the future, maybe even additional altcoin ETFs in the future. That just simply legitimizes the coin more, which means there's more potential upside. And that's exactly what's happening with the Ripple case. As you guys know, there's a 97% chance that Ripple wins against the SEC. Now, I'm not a huge Ripple fan, but it doesn't mean that I can't trade it and make money on it. The thing is, if they win the lawsuit against the SEC, again, it just legitimizes XRP. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a great project or that it's a great coin. It just helps the narrative. It helps the safety net in the back of people's minds, in the back of their subconscious, that they can invest in this thing and they're not going to get rugged completely. Yes, they may lose some money. Of course, many coins lose money and drop 99%, but there's at least a chance for them to know that they're not going to get rugged to 0. Potentially. Of course, there's always a chance for that to happen, but it does help a lot with the mindset of that. Now, again, HSBC is rolling out a cryptocurrency service in Hong Kong. You've seen a lot of this SEC pushback from the West. And I've mentioned this on my Twitter, that the US is, at least in the past, has been very resistant to cryptocurrency, and they're trying to regulate it to 0, while the East is welcoming cryptocurrency with open arms. The UAE, Hong Kong, even China, even though they've been banning Bitcoin for many, many years, they're always doing things like this. And they're actually one of the biggest trading markets in the world. A lot of the cryptocurrency trading, especially even with Binance, the whole fight around Binance, with Binance basically getting pushed out of the US and out of North America and so on, that only 2% of their volume was in that market. 98% of all of their volume is in the East. So the cryptocurrency market, even though it took a hit from that news that Binance is being investigated and Binance this and Binance that, it was a speculative hit, meaning that the volume was still there. It's just in the East. And of course, with the US being the superpower of the world, we obviously get that news and it affects everyone. The thing is that all of this stuff that's happening has been, since 2015, when I got into cryptocurrency, has been legitimizing crypto. Day by day by day, we've been getting more and more positive news. Yes, there's FUD that comes in. Yes, there's this price manipulation, market manipulation with Tether FUD and all of this stuff. It doesn't matter. Long term, everything gets legitimized because blockchain is the technology, and I'll say this time and time again, blockchain is the technology that has changed the world and that is here to stay. There's nothing wrong with blockchain. The FTX collapse had absolutely nothing to do with blockchain. It had everything to do with centralized entities, banks basically. FTX was operating, as I've said again on my Twitter, as an unregulated bank, or in many cases, a regulated bank with no proof of reserves. And that's exactly what they're trying to do in the crypto market now with some of the centralized exchanges, is they're showing proof of reserve, showing that they do have the money to back up the crypto that you're buying on their exchange. But at the end of the day, remember, there are many, many best practices in the space. Self-custody your stuff, get yourself a hardware wallet, get yourself multiple hardware wallets, do a multi-sig. There's many things that you can do to protect your assets. And at the end of the day, if you're here for crypto and you're sticking around and you're watching this video right now, welcome back. The bull market is ahead of us, and I hope we all make a ton of money together. If you want to follow these updates, you want to know which altcoins I'm going to be buying and what I'm going to be doing, follow this channel, hit the subscribe button, give it a like, and comment down below. As always, I shall see you in the next video. Cheers.